The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. I'm your host, the original HBIC, Katie Boyd. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And how dare you? How dare you?
I was just programmed. I was going,
speak over my introduction.
Yeah. I love that.
Don't know your role.
No,
okay, know your role. Don't hate the play, I hate the game, motherfucker. And over here is this boisterous bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Martin Big Bernard Babine. We'll just clap. We'll just do a slow clap like in an 80s movie.
God. It was just because I was getting ready for your intro and I was like so excited and I just started thinking, I go, oh, yeah.
Pipe down.
You get me excited.
Pipe down.
Sorry.
Well, talking about being excited, I can't wait to read my iTunes review of the week.
That sounds good.
Because some people in this world take direction from this HBIC and they go on over to iTunes and they give a 5-star and written review to tell us how much you love us.
Oh, that's awesome.
It gets me up in the morning. It keeps me coming back to do this podcast every week. And if you don't give iTunes reviews, maybe one day I just won't show up anymore and there will be no more Ambitchious podcast.
Oh, worse.
Worse.
I may not be here.
Oh, Jesus. That would be a travesty. That would just be a travesty.
A travesty. Where's the Big Bernard?
Oh, my God. I can tell you a couple places where the Big Bernard is. Speaking of Big Bernards, the highlight of my week. It's from Dawn Priest.
Oh, I love Dawn.
I love Dawn, too. She says, this podcast is the highlight of my week. It doesn't matter what I have going on in my life or what Katie is talking about. I always pull such inspiration and motivation from listening. And I love hearing Matt chime in too. Dawn, seriously, you're just making his head bigger and bigger and bigger. Sooner or later, his Big Bernard won't be able to fit through the door. It's the perfect combination of powerful and fun. Katie gives so much of herself to helping others realize their potential, and I'm so incredibly grateful. Dawn Priest, email me at themisfitclub@gmail.com to receive your $100 gift certificate to use towards anything KBMFC related. Oh, gosh. Yeah, and now we have like these amazing sponsors that help make the Ambitchious podcast possible.
Absolutely.
And it is Ayana, owner of Prana Hair, Skin, and Lash. Go over to her website. Matt goes, thank you, Ayana. What are you thanking Ayana for? She ain't done nothing for you.
Well, she's supporting you in this podcast.
Because you make me beautiful.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, more beautiful than I already am. She does my lashes. She does my facials. She microbladed my beautiful eyebrows. So I don't have to put these suckers on every day. I just wake up. I woke up like this because Ayana. Go over to PranaHairSkinAndLash.com and you will receive $100 off a microblading. Amazing stuff, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And we have some amazing and incredible and stupendous events coming up.
Yes.
What's going on, Matt? Do you know what's going on?
Your book is coming out.
Hello.
Big time. Ambitchious, the book. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
How excited are you?
Very excited because you've been working so hard on it. I mean, if anyone knows the story, you lost your book and then you had to recreate it, which it's better this time than it was before.
Very, very true.
Everything happens for a reason, as we know, and it's coming out pre-sale. I don't know when the pre-sale is, the dates and stuff like that, but I know
we will let you know. But you know, if you want to know when the pre-sale is, actually go on over to www.kbmfc.com and sign up for our free weekly newsletter, and that will have the whole time ticker on there. Because if you actually get the pre-sale book, you get 5 chapters, which is a lot of information. And furthermore, if you come to Kripalu the first weekend in January, you will also get your hands on the actual physical book before anyone else does, because we're going to be launching the book the week after Kripalu.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if you come to Kripalu, which go on and check that out too. Jill's very excited. She's doing the Cabbage Patch in the audience.
It's going to be coming up soon too. I mean, it's
Don't you feel like we just did Kripalu though? Like
it does.
I feel like I did it yesterday. It's strange,
feels
right?
like I was just in a unicorn outfit.
I
was just in a unicorn outfit. I know. Yes.
Absolutely. So if you come to the Live Your Best Life weekend at Kripalu, you will get your hands on the physical book. And because Matt has prompted me to create some swag, some Ambitchious swag, I will be there with my swag caravan. Against my will.
All the good stuff. Yes. Well, everyone wants it. So I think we should probably have some. I'll bring it. I'll be responsible for that.
You're the swag bitch.
You have enough going on. I'll be the swag bitch.
All right. You ready to get into this podcast today?
I am.
So this is all about how to cultivate flexibility. So I am probably the most rigid bitch you've ever met in your life, to the point where I think that rigidity actually makes you break and fall apart. Because what I'll do is I will be like, I have to work out this many hours a day, and I have to eat only this, and I have to do only this, and my bed has to be made a certain way, and I have to do all these different things, and I make these insane rigid schedules for myself. And then like by like, the first week of doing that, I'm like, fuck. And I just go back to my old ways.
Yeah.
And that's shitty.
Right.
So I want to start this podcast today by reading one of my favorite quotes. And I love me some Bruce Lee. And he says, "You must be shapeless, formless like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. When you pour water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can drip and water can crash. Become like water, my friend." Don't you love that?
I love Bruce Lee.
It's
He was
so
awesome.
true, though.
Yeah, so true.
So me, and then Matt's just here for his good looks and great rack. He did not help me at all on this podcast, but every week he just shows
Look at
up.
all my notes. Look at all my notes. Look at all the things that
By the
I'm
way,
ready
he
to
made
talk
these
about.
notes 10 minutes before we started this podcast.
Yeah, because you told me last night
They give
before
me
bed what it
insane
was
amounts
about.
of energy.
Yes.
What?
I did give you a lot of energy.
Whatever. Okay, so pretty much we're going to give the top 5 ways to be a flexible bitch. How's that sound? Cool?
Sounds good.
All right, number 1, embrace the unknown. Embrace the unknown. So really, like everything about life is unknown. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen the next day. You don't know what's going to happen next week, next month,
You
right?
don't know if somebody's going to start hammering in the middle of a podcast.
Oh, my help. You just can't
doors breaking or a saw going off.
You just can't get good help anymore these days.
You just got to be ready.
My God. You know what? I just fucking roll with the punches. This is what I do.
I actually just heard hammering, so that's why I
is that what you heard?
I'm being flexible.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, be flexible, Matt.
I'm like in my own Ambitchious bubble, so I don't know anything that's going on. All right, whatever. But seriously though, is tomorrow promised?
No.
Is next
Not
week
at all.
promised?
Nothing is promised.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to just, by being flexible, you can truly roll with the punches. By being flexible, I think that it helps you level up quicker.
Yes.
Because if you're so rigid and you're always trying to control what's going to happen next, is it really living life ambitiously?
No.
Right.
Absolutely not. No.
Are you a rigid bitch?
I was.
No.
And
When?
I actually
With the Reagan administration?
Absolutely.
When?
I was definitely.
Tell me.
Number one, what was my number one thing I hated was change. I don't like
that's
change,
true.
right? So if you can't take change,
That explains Matt's undies.
Everything is change, and sometimes when change happens, maybe my undies get a little bit,
It's like the Indy 500 up in that bitch.
racing stripes happen.
Skid Max.
But that was, that flexibility is oh God, I'm changing the subject real quick. Flexibility is change, right? So you have to be flexible. You said like the rigid tree, right? You can't be that rigid tree.
Don't change the subjects just so we don't talk about your dirty underwear. I want to know how you were rigid before. So you didn't like change.
Anything, whether it was work, whether it was, if a road was detoured and I had to take another path. I mean, I used to be so.
That's actually true.
This is how I
You get
like
frustrated.
things. I get very frustrated, right? And the older I got, the more and more I started to embrace change because change is inevitable. So you might as well get on the bus or get under it. And I decided to get on the bus. And, I like change that I want. I don't like change that I necessarily don't want.
That's
right?
true.
But you have to deal with it, and everybody has to. and it's really giving up control, right? Because it's if you look at the changes that happen, you kind of got to give up that control.
Right,
kind of
I
just let
agree.
things happen.
So here's a great way that I have been trying to be more flexible. I am a psychopath with mantras. So literally at any point of the day, I could be doing whatever, and these negative thought patterns will come up in my head. And I always have like certain mantras for certain things that I think, because I know myself, I've been doing this spiritual work for a really long time. And I know like what plays over and over in my hypnotic rhythm in my mind. And one of the things is about control. So lately what I've been doing is I've been saying in my mind's eye, I will cross that bridge when I get to it. I will cross that bridge when I get to it.
That's good.
Yeah, don't you think that will help?
Absolutely.
So cross that bridge or jump off the bridge, whatever.
Don't jump off.
All right. Number 2, be open to mid-course correction, right? Be open to mid-course correction. So for me personally, I like spreadsheets and I like everything to look a certain way, and everything has to be like put in this perfect little package with this little bow, and it has to, because that's where my safety lies. And the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, all I'm left with is these spreadsheets. And then I'm like, okay, I wrote this down, so I have to do it, or I said I was going to do this thing and I have to follow through. And now I'm not going to go out and say like, everyone just give up in the middle and just be like, fuck it, it's not working. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's certain times where you've put things forward or put things forth and said, this is what I desire to do. And then you get halfway through and you're like, is this really what I want to be doing? It's okay to mid-course correct. It's okay to stop in your tracks and sit down and say, oh my God, some of these things are not really resonating with who I am. It's not aligning with who I want to be, who I desire to be, right? Like I'll give you an example. When we came home from Portugal, I had like all these epiphanies, because I think that when you slow down and you actually have time to think, that's when like God can talk to you when you're quiet. When you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you cut off a lot of that divine. And I pulled my cards this week, and I had 3 cards that were about my blocked third eye chakra. And I was like, oh my God, I've never pulled cards like this. So I was like, okay. So I started doing these like third eye chakra opening meditations and working on opening my intuition and all these things. So when I came home from Portugal, I sat down and I looked at all the ways that I bring money into my world, all the ways that I attract abundance in my world. And I realized that I had 15 different ways that I make money every month. That's a lot, right? And they say that people, and they say that people who are 7-figure or like multiple 6-figure earners or whatever, they have more than one stream of revenue. That's how they become so wealthy.
Yes.
But I started to look at all the different streams of revenue, and I was like, dude, this is like too much. Because it's almost like when people look at all the different things I do, they almost get like analysis paralysis. Like, do I want to do a Reiki session with her? Do I want to go to a sound healing? Do I want to do a spirit day? Should I save up my money and go to Kripalu? Should I go out to California next spring and go to 1440 Multiversity? Should I buy the book? Like, they don't know. And then what happens is what? They just don't work with me, or they take no action. So I was like, fuck it. I'm streamlining my 15 down to 5.
That's awesome.
And you don't think that was scary?
Absolutely.
Ooh, like, because, I grew up with nothing. So like for me, that's like, it's really, really scary.
But the way you streamlined it, it's not, you're not losing anything. You're giving up certain things to be able to really focus and hone in on, which is a great mid-course correction.
Right.
Because there's many times where I have like all these different things going on, and I'll be like, I looked good then. This is not where I'm at right now.
So true.
You have to kind of let that part go and be focusing on what's really important or what's really moving the ball.
Absolutely. So that's what I did. And I was like, I teach these masterminds, these business courses and all this stuff. And it's like, if my mastermind came to me and said, I'm really overwhelmed with all these different streams of income, and I feel like just when I sell one thing, I'm already selling the next thing, and there's never any time to just be like, oh, that was really fun. Right. Like, I want to feel good after I do something. I don't want to be like, okay, I just did this amazing spirit day with like these beautiful people, and now I have to go on and sell the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
You don't want to ram things through either, right? So that's almost like ramming things through, because if you wait and then 2 months later, maybe like, I'm not doing this now, but 2 months later, I think that's going to be a perfect opportunity.
Right.
Or I'm so focused on this right now, and for me to be able to give it my undivided attention, I may have to not do this.
Yes.
Right. And that's happened to me too. I mean, we're always kind of, we have all these things going, but you have to kind of measure and see where is my attention needed right now.
Absolutely.
And even, that's bad.
So it's okay to mid-course correct people. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're copping out. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means you're trusting in the universe and the good things will come from it. Because just in the last couple of weeks, I feel like a totally different person.
Yeah.
I feel so focused. I'm
Yes.
like, because I'm not trying to, put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag all the time.
And the 15 things that you had,
We
right?
just combine them all into one great experience.
Exactly. So some of the things I think you were labeling, but was actually, wait a second, this is already being done in Spirit Day.
Yes.
Or this is already being done here. Maybe I don't even have to have this modality.
Yes.
And this person can get all of everything.
Right. And that's why we're going to be doing Ambitchious masterclasses in 2020.
That's awesome.
It's going to be 3 days of just full-fledged
immersion
therapy.
Ambitchious immersion.
Oof. Get your fucking underoos on for that one.
I love a good immersion.
Number 3, learn that failure is functional. Okay? Failure is functional.
So it's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
Always going to happen.
It's going to happen, right? And I think that we are so afraid to fail that instead of doing, we just don't do because we're like, oh God, what if I fuck this up? Or what if I fail? Or what if I put myself out there on social media and I tell people I'm going to do this thing and then I don't do it? People are going to talk shit about me. This is how you learn.
Yeah.
My biggest failures, and I'm not spiritually bypassing anyone because this is like a whole thing that's going on in the spiritual world right now. People will say like, you got to get through the darkness to get to the light. And people are like, yeah, but what if someone has like depression or like all these different things? And I'm like, I'm not fucking saying that. What I'm saying is sometimes, I think all the time, but all the time when you fail, that's your biggest teaching tool.
Absolutely.
Because every time I fucked up,
if you learn from it, right?
Absolutely.
But if you keep on banging your head against the wall trying to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right? That's not going to do anything. But if you learn from it and say, hey, I have to approach this a different way, or look at somebody else has the results that you want, and if they're getting that result, what are they doing?
Yes.
And that's what Business Mastermind is all about. That you do is like teaching people how to get the results that they want. But you can't drag them to the finish line. They have to do the work themselves. They have to go through the pain. They have to go through their own little failures. And they have to ask the right questions. Like, what will happen in my life if I don't take action on this?
Right.
Am I going to be still doing the same thing? Am I going to be still in the same job? That's not passion to me. And most people leverage it on the other side. What if I take action and I fail? Or what if I do this and it doesn't work out? And
what if you do it and it does work out?
You're thinking on the wrong end of the scale, right? You should be thinking about, okay, what if I don't?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm going to be doing X.
Right.
I don't know what you do for a living, but you're going to be stuck in that cubicle.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be, a waitress or a waiter.
It's all
there's anything
perception.
wrong with that, but if that's not your passion, then there's nothing going to come and say, hello, I'm here.
Yes.
Right? You have to be able to say, I'm pushing this agenda through because this is in my being.
Yes.
And then just stay with it and fail often, and learn.
And fail forward.
And learn from adversity.
Right.
And pick yourself up and dust yourself off again.
And it's, okay, Aaliyah.
Pick yourself up and dust yourself off again.
You are just singing it today, huh? Okay. Go get your Tommy Hilfiger boxers. Damn, kid.
Oh, wait a second. I thought that was Jay-Z. Dust your shoulders off.
No, that's
what I
the
meant.
whole different song.
Yeah, dust your shoulders off. I'm more Jay-Z than Aaliyah. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not going to even touch that one. No, but what I was going to say, it's all about perception, right? So it's like Albert Einstein once said, and I'm obviously paraphrasing, but he said, you have to choose, are you going to be in a hostile universe or are you going to be in a friendly universe? And it's the same thing with perception of failure.
Yes.
Don't touch my fucking laptop.
I will touch it. I had to look. I couldn't see that next thing that you
like, I'm talking to him and he's like, this is not the time to learn how to type, Matt.
I was just learning.
Don't touch my fucking shit.
Is L. L is right there.
Okay.
Don't even get me going today because I
just quoted Albert Einstein and now you're just shitting all over me.
I'm flexible, but not that flexible.
Alrighty then. Okay. I guess we're moving on now to 4. Focus on emotional intelligence, which Matt has none of.
Oh no, I have massive people skills.
Do you though?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you though?
Yes.
So if you guys out there in Ambitchious land have not heard of EQ, so there's IQ, which is how smart you are, right? Which I think that's great. Be smart. But I really do believe in my heart of hearts that having EQ, emotional intelligence, is actually more important than book smart. Because like, how many people have you met that are like Bill Gates genius that like, you're like, I can't talk to this motherfucker. Like he doesn't understand empathy. He doesn't understand life. He just understands like algorithms and
Oh, gotcha.
And
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah. Not Bill Gates himself, but somebody like
No, not Bill
yeah,
Gates.
okay, thank you.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I haven't met Bill Gates
I
yet.
spent 25 years managing people.
Yes.
And what I always said is, I don't care how smart they are. I care how effective they are.
That's right. It's
Yeah,
so true.
That's EQ, 100%.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Because I think the old days of being micromanaged also like in an environment, a work environment too, is like, like butts in the seat doesn't mean like you're going to prosper.
Right.
Sometimes it's like they're better off working from home. They get more shit done.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So the actual word EQ, it actually stands for emotional intelligent quotient, and it describes a person's ability to recognize emotions, to understand their powerful effect, and to use that information to guide your behavior and thoughts. So people who reflect on one's own emotions and reactions to life will help you become and stay more flexible in the pursuit of all your ambitious endeavors.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I always had really good EQ. I don't know where my IQ is. But
Same.
I always knew people. I always was really
You're a good people reader.
Great with people, be able to read people, know where I'm going with the conversation, with the business deal, with whatever it is that we're working together.
Yeah.
And you're really good too. So I think that helps us.
But you've been on you've been on dinners with people, like you're entertaining doctors or you're like, doing stuff with work and stuff. And like, that it's a sales thing.
Right.
Because you're in corporate sales, right? And then the person that maybe is a colleague of yours or someone else at the table, like everyone's having fun and they're talking about their vacations, they're talking about their kids' like college educations and funny stories, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah. So let's get to the deal.
I've been to many places like
right?
that.
You talk to me about that all the time. I'm like, this motherfucker has no EQ.
No EQ. It's not the time to talk about that. We're just building relationships right now. We're kind of figure out if we can even work together or how we're going to work together.
Yeah.
Or the stuff that we're already doing, it's kind of like we want to make sure that we're doing a good job and so forth and so on, whether it's in healthcare or your business or my businesses. It's the bonds of people that are going to take you to the next level, whether it's in business and life. Yeah.
And a lot of people are so funny because he'll say like, wow, you and Matt like have like parties for the kids, or you guys have like these parent days where you have the parents come, you buy them food, drinks and stuff like that, and you guys have conversation. It's like, that's amazing. Like no other company like yours does those type of things.
It's so important.
And I'm like, really? Like, I mean, I know other companies do that.
Well,
but the people who are saying this to us maybe have not experienced that before.
Not experienced it. And so many businesses are worried about, but it's going to cost me money to do that, opposed to, you're probably going to break even, lose money, whatever, but you're going to win so much more, because if you're really intentionally trying to serve your customers, that's really what you're going to do. The other stuff will come. But if you get everybody together and you can listen to everybody what they're struggling with, and you can be a help, or that person was in the group is a help to them.
Right.
Because you put these people in the room together. Right. It doesn't matter if I come up with a solution. I don't want to come up with a solution. I just want to put people together.
Right.
So everyone can come up with their own solutions, whether it's a kid's solution, a business solution, a life solution, a spiritual solution, whatever it is, put the right people in the room.
And also realizing too that when, like, say for instance, you're at work or you're at a party or you're at the holidays are coming up. So like you're at a holiday thing with your family or whatever. Won't catch me dead there, but you might do that.
I don't do that.
But say like you're at like a place with other people and someone says something like rude to you or like off color or whatever. And you like your first immediate reaction is to be like, excuse me, bitch, what the fuck did you just say to me? But by having the EQ, you can stand back and go, okay, I'm triggering this person.
Yes.
This person doesn't feel like they're enough. This has nothing to do with me. It's them.
Right.
I'm obviously holding a mirror up to their inadequacies or their low self-esteem or their insecurities in some way.
Yes.
And then you turn it around and you open your heart up to be like, oh, okay. So you're not in that stimulus response mode, how like we would be like 10, 15 years ago when someone would step to me and I'd be like, back the fuck up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I'm just like, oh, you're triggered right now. I'm just going to let you have your day.
Just happened to me the other day. One of my parents came in and was angry about something at the karate studio. And I was like, oh, this person's not like this.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, all right. And I kind of let it go, let it pass.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something because that ego almost came up. I was like, don't you know that this is this and this is this and I'm the, whatever.
Yep.
And I let it go. And then all of a sudden the next day the person comes in and just awesome. I was like, you were having a bad day.
Yeah.
You were probably trying to get your kids here. You were trying to traffic, or the boss was on the phone with you. I don't know what everyone's going through in life, but everyone's going through some type of shit, or else you wouldn't be living. So
Hello.
I think if you know that person's coming in anywhere in business and life, or people you meet in the street, everyone has a story, and there's always something going on in the background that you don't know.
Right.
And if you just kind of let that person be, guaranteed patience, right? Patience and letting things just go.
Well, they flap their wings.
Yeah.
Right? Like it says in Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. He was talking about the two ducks on the pond. It was like the two ducks on the pond, and they were like, they went after each other, and they were like, and then they just kind of both looked at each other and flapped the shit out of their wings, and then they just were like, la la la, and they went on their other sides of the pond, and he was like, wow, that's like so incredible.
Yeah.
If only we as humans could either both flap our wings or allow the other person to flap their wings.
Just let it go.
Yeah. Because whatever we give our energy to, it's going to grow. So if you just kind of like take the wind out of that person's sails that are coming into your office, and you are like you're the shit end of the stick of their day.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I'm going to take my aggression out on this person because it's easy. Oh, Sensei Matt, he's so nice. He'll just let me like bitch. And I was like, I'm actually not very I'm not nice, but I'm going to be nice to you.
I'm very nice because I'm in a good state today that I try to be in every day, but sometimes you may catch me not in a great state either.
Like when Matt says,
I'm human.
I'm doing something.
I'm doing something. How about this one? This was a good one. I got this email, this email that was a really nasty email, and I was like, oh, yeah? And I was just going to start firing back. And I'm like,
oh, you mean I was going to fire back for him, and he was going to dictate the email to me?
I was going to fire back because it was going to be a forward of the email, read this, what the hell happened with this, da-da-da. And I was about to do it, and I said, you know something? No, I'm not going to do it because it's first thing in the morning, and I'm not dealing with this right now. And long story short, about a half hour later, it was all resolved. Because I was not the only one in the email.
Because you didn't give the energy.
It was all resolved, and I didn't have to do a damn thing about it.
That's so awesome.
So sometimes the patience, I think, is huge.
Patience is
just
flexible.
Let it go for a little while. Think about it and come back to it in a good state.
Absolutely. Yep. Last but not least, fucking find humor in everyday life, man. Laugh it off, right?
Absolutely.
Like I always say to everybody, people will come to me and they'll be like, and then she did this to me, and then that person did that to me, and this happened, and all this fucking shit. And I'm just like, bitch, we are on a blue ball in the middle of the motherfucking Milky Way galaxy, hurtling through space at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay? In the middle of a multiverse, in the middle of a universe that we literally do not know where the fuck it ends and where it begins. Fucking laugh, man.
You're giving me anxiety. I was going to laugh
until
you just told me that. I just started feeling chest pain.
The fact that we're not just floating the fuck away right now because we have a gravitational pull to our Earth is like, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
Think about it, right?
Amazing.
I always talk about like Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah.
Like, these kids go see like, oh, I want to go see Horton Hears a Who, the Dr. Seuss show. I'm like, it's a little secret, little Johnny. You are Horton Hears a Who.
We are on just a flower.
You are on the end of an allium flower, and a fucking elephant is holding you. Isn't it true?
Yeah, we think we're so great, and we're flying in jets going from one leaf to another. I'm thinking we're really getting somewhere.
It's insane. So you just have to kind of fucking laugh it off.
It really is.
Right?
How about a good laugh? We were doing something serious, and we were at our house, and Pearl, our little Boston Terrier, she has this little binky that we put like treats in it.
It looks like a butt plug.
It looks like a butt plug. It does look like a butt plug.
It really looks like a butt plug. Not that I know what a butt plug looks like. I would never.
I never saw
use
it.
That
we have this thing,
allegedly.
and it was on the island. And we were going to do something. I think we were going over.
Oh, no, we were saying our statement.
Doing our statements. First thing in the morning. And all of a sudden, I always say Pearl is the third mind. So she needs to be. So she's over there. And all you hear is jumping.
And then scratch.
And I'm like, what the heck is she? We just busted out laughing.
Yeah.
Because that was the most important thing. She's like, Dad just took my binky out. That means food's going in it. I don't know what these bastards are doing, but don't give me my
hurry the fuck up and say your abundant statements, you assholes, and give me my binky.
That's my abundance.
So true. Hey, Pearl's very flexible, though.
She's very flexible.
She's doing all these things.
As long as food's involved.
Yeah. Well, sounds like someone else I know, my co-host, Big Bernard. Yes. As long as food is involved, he's very flexible. That was great, babe.
Good one.
Thanks for helping everybody out there.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for writing this podcast.
Yes, I did. I wrote it, and the next one I come, I'm going to type it myself.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, and Joseph. Thank you all for being crusaders to this ambitious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday. Yeah.
That was a good one.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.